sound effect of my spine splitting and birthing a baby me. And welcome to Guilty Pleasures.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Let's fucking go,
It's
baby.
been a minute, and what a movie to come back to.
Oh my God.
We're talking about The Substance, the new
El Substanzo.
El Substanto.
El Substanto.
Substantiated.
The new body horror movie that is infecting our brains.
Yeah.
Infecting
And
the
our
world.
hearts.
And our hearts.
Wow.
In a great way. This
Yeah.
is a big raucous. I was actually a little nervous to watch this movie because of people talking about it as one of the air quotes most fucked up body horror movies in
Yeah.
recent memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say it is one of the most delightfully insane body horror movies in recent memory.
Yeah.
It's also very Spy Kids-esque body horror. If that's
He
what you
just
want to
can't
get
let
into.
it go.
I
That
can't.
will only make sense if you've seen it.
Yeah. It's like, it's practical effects and it's body horror. So I'm like,
Man.
oh, okay, well, there's only so much you can do.
I'll tell you this, Guilty Horrors, whether you've seen this or you have heard about it, this movie is going to be the most talked about movie of the year. And it's either going to be because people fucking loved it or they fucking hated it. I don't think there is any in between.
Yeah, and I feel like if you fucking hated it, then you're wrong.
You don't like art.
Yeah.
You don't like joy, man?
You
don't
hate
like
women.
joy.
I have some critiques of the movie.
Yeah,
but
there's
I don't
some
know.
critiques.
I don't know how you see this and don't go, that was a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, it was
The
like,
punch in the fucking face.
yeah, all critiques were just like, yeah, that's just not for me, you know?
Yeah.
Can we say this out the gate? Demi Moore is back.
Demi Moore is back.
But
Demi
did you know
Moore.
you accidentally set us up for a Dennis Quaid-a-thon?
We're doing
Oh, wow, yeah.
we're doing the Parent Trap next week, so stick around, and we're back to
What a
back
delight.
Quaid over here.
Back-to-back Quaid.
Which is hilarious because he is so good in this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So and as the world's grossest man.
Yeah.
Truly.
So charming in the Parent Trap.
Yeah.
And in real life, he's going to Trump rallies.
No!
You didn't know?
No!
You
Yeah.
didn't know?
No!
He
Yeah.
just played Ronald Reagan in a biopic.
What?
Yeah, which is crazy.
No.
All right, let's just get into it because this is
Yeah.
patriarchy, the movie, right? Like
No,
he
guys.
What do you mean?
he
What?
plays the world's grossest man in this film, and I'll hit you with the synopsis in a minute, but they film him exclusively with these wide-angle lenses up close. He's munching on food. I mean, there's body horror in this movie. I would say Dennis Quaid's face and mouth and the way that he eats is more grotesque than anything on screen.
Yeah.
And he is willfully, gleefully playing gross man, right? Like that's his role.
Very mukbang-like. Very
Harvey
mukbang
Weinstein
in the-
meets Trump is how I keep seeing it.
Yeah,
Loud, gross, cigarette smoke breath, skin that's too
Right.
cratery for up close cinema.
yeah, it's
Slobbering down. There's one shot of him splitting shrimp and sucking on his fingers.
Just very
and
red.
The
Yeah.
sounds and whatever. And what's crazy is that he's playing
I'm so sad.
like a liberal view of the gross Republican man.
I can't believe this
And
information.
I don't know if did he not know what he was playing?
I don't think he gives a fuck
Or maybe he was
anymore.
just down.
I don't think he cares. I
This
think
is
that
like-
he's like, and somebody tweeted it and made it like a really good point. And Zach, you might have sent
I
it.
sent this
yeah,
to
you
you
sent
guys.
it. Yeah, where it's just like we need to stop canceling Republican actors because we need more Dennis Quaid in the Substance performances.
We need a few. We need a few monsters.
That's
I
fair.
feel like I just found out my dad voted for Trump and has been like fucking lying to me and like supporting me and is an ally
Yeah.
and like I'm going through something personally over here
Okay.
for a moment.
All right.
It's
Well,
such a funny.
Take your time.
Yeah. What do you want to go for a lap or?
Yeah.
I feel like I need to just
Yeah. Okay. She pushed the mic away. That's
Yeah,
fine.
she pushed it away. She's meditating silently.
kind of muttering to herself.
She's
Eyes wide.
he was our dad. He so handsome. Yep. He gave.
you ever seen him playing Santa soon?
Yep. Absolutely.
Not anymore.
Yeah. And he's he's in his 60s. Still looks great. Still slim.
How did he play this role?
He played
just
this role
looked-
back to back with doing a Reagan biopic. Like he went from set from one to the other.
Yeah. And
Was
it's
that
just,
Reagan one good?
Obviously not.
Oh.
Yeah. It's also so funny because he the only way that he found this performance is just look deep inside himself.
Damn. So maybe he didn't think it was like satire.
Oh,
That's what I'm like. I don't know. Like, did he not see how they were framing the shot?
They didn't show him the lenses.
Like,
He
he
knows.
had to know what he was doing. It's too self-aware
He
of a
knows.
performance. But it is, the tweet really made me laugh. I don't
Damn
genuinely believe this, but the idea of like, I guess we need a couple awful Republicans in Hollywood because
yeah, as long as they're charming.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Just don't play my Santa. Not my Santa.
not my Santa.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The Substance. Let's hit you with a little synopsis. Demi Moore stars as Elizabeth Sparkle.
Porn
She
name.
was the 80s greatest. Wait, what did you say?
He said
Porn
porn
name.
And it is a porn name.
Yeah.
And you know what? Thank you so much.
Yeah. No problem.
Thank you for
I had
that
to, I had
input.
to just step on that entire beautiful
We had to get
synopsis.
that right here
Yes.
out the gate.
Right now.
Yep. Porn
You
name.
gotta know. Elizabeth Sparkle was the 1980s greatest
It.
jazzercise
Famous actress
who does exercise tapes.
resorted to jazzercise in her elder years.
Thank you so much.
Is that what what we were reading?
Yeah, she got her
actually-
star on, and they talk about all the movies she was in.
I guess
Oh,
I actually, to
okay.
be honest, didn't fully catch that.
Okay,
So,
so, all right. Well, then now I really have a gripe with the movie. Please
Yeah.
continue.
Oh.
but the producers, they want to edge her out. She's getting old. She's getting rankly. They gotta
Droopy.
droopy.
She's getting droopy.
They gotta
Droopy.
make way for the young, the tight, the snatched.
Yeah.
Demi Moore, Elizabeth takes the substance. It is a mysterious medical.
Neon green.
It's a substance,
It's
I would
a
say.
substance.
In fact, I might call the substance a substance.
Yeah.
That. Like, there's no other way to describe this. It makes your spine split open. You mitosis into a new, younger, hotter, stronger,
More
better
perfect.
version of yourself. But there is a catch. 7 days on, 7 days off. You are one, the substance tells you. And so Demi Moore has to do 7 days as Elizabeth and 11. 11.
7
That'd be a
11.
very confusing movie.
Yeah.
7 days as Elizabeth, 7 days as Sue. While Sue is awake, Elizabeth is not. While Elizabeth is awake, Sue is not. They transfer their consciousness back and forth and back and forth. And if you dare go even an hour over,
It's going to be consequences.
Oh, big consequences.
there's going to be some
There's going to be
consequence.
Oh, yeah.
some gray consequences.
Oh my God.
And we will talk
Shit.
about those. This is The Substance.
I need to just say that you taught me, Zach. You said it once on a podcast episode. People need to keep making weird shit.
Yeah.
I think it was the Everything Everywhere at All at Once Oscars episode where you were like, keep making weird, and you got really passionate about it. And I was like, yeah, you know what? We've become such a society that gives money to movies, millions and billions of dollars, that is franchise, mass consumption. It must do performance box office numbers. And now we've separated to either there's that in Marvel or there's fucking this.
Yeah.
And it is art. It is weird. It is fucking out there. It is gut punching. Does not give a fuck if you love it or like it. But these movies all have one thing in common, which is that they are so confident
Yeah.
in who they are. And shout out to this female filmmaker. She's French. She made a really popular movie in
I haven't seen
2017
it.
or 18. So I thought this was her big first film.
I don't have my phone on me
That
because
is
they're
weird.
transferring footage. So I normally I'm able to pop in and be like, oh, it's this and that.
called
And
The Revenge.
I just forget. I will be doing no fact checking and no additional little
As if we
tidbits
normally
of
do.
info.
But this is a movie where it tells you it's body horror, but it is so much more to me. And my first pledgie out the gate is the confidence that it has as a movie. Yes, it is about the entertainment industry. Yes, it's about a commentary on women trying to stay young, which we could fucking talk about the nuances that they nailed in this about that. But it doesn't try to comment on too much. It has such a clear vision. You don't even know the name of the people who are making the substance because it doesn't matter. You don't know the name of the network she's on because it doesn't matter. There's so much ambiguity in this movie, because it's going balls to the wall, 100% pussy in on this messaging of the monkey's paw of chasing the fountain of youth.
Yeah.
And I fucking loved that. Because at first I was like, oh, how lame that they're like missing these key details. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, because they nail everything else. And so that's just like my first pledge, is like the confidence at which this movie was made. And like, I didn't know this, but it won Best Screenplay at Cannes.
Okay,
And
cool.
I have to imagine whoever was reading this was just like, what
Yeah.
the actual fuck?
I mean, just off of that, like, not even like not even weird storytelling, but just like on a sci-fi level, like this is the range of science fiction that I would love to like see so much more often, the same way that we have The Substance, and then you have Severance as well, where it's just like, hey, what about a type of universe where things are slightly off, slightly to the left, and it doesn't have to be like so far in the future. And I feel like whenever anybody brings up science fiction, they're like, oh my God, there's spaceships everywhere, I bet, and blah, 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 blah. But I would see this one more as a science fiction show, movie, than I would a body horror, if I'm being honest.
Wow.
Genre is the way
Yeah.
to tap into deeper truths.
Yeah.
If you heighten one element just a little bit, and in this case a lot of bit,
Right.
but if you heighten something, it allows us to access something that is deeper and more truthful than if you were trying to make some melodramatic slob about an aging star who's sad. It's
Right.
just like, I don't want to watch that fucking movie.
Yeah, no, you've seen it so often.
Yeah.
And I think that like in the same way that you like tell jokes, the humor is in the exaggeration of the situation and the heightening of the situation.
Oh,
so
this
if your
is
premise
full
is
camp.
fucking camp, if your
Yeah.
premise is heightened,
Camp.
it's just like then we can actually go for it, and we can slip in messages in between that gap
You
between
put the spinach between the mac and cheese.
yeah. Yeah.
That is not an idiom.
Yes, it
But
is.
You put
I
the
mean, that might be
spinach in the mac and cheese?
that might be the Florida idiom.
Wait,
the Florida
can you
idiom.
Google that, Rainie?
I
Do
think
people
you're-
say put the spinach in the mac and cheese?
That is it. I mean, it's like a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love your version.
Oh, Rainie's shaking her head no.
Has anyone ever said
It's just a bunch of recipes.
Damn. Okay. Wait, but there is spinach in mac and cheese?
Yeah, spinach mac and cheese.
Okay.
So I
Didn't
don't.
fucking make this up.
Yeah.
Those two things go together.
The way that I don't know any idioms because I just grew up in a Caribbean household, so they weren't saying the idioms weren't a thing, and so if you say put the spinach in, I was like, yeah,
that's about right.
yeah, I make them up,
Yeah.
make them up. Why do idioms have to be like this set verbiage that
No,
we
it
all
says
know?
as long
Make
as you
them
say it
up.
with confidence,
Say it with
which
confidence,
I thought I was nailing.
and I'm just gonna be like, oh, you're Southern. That's
put the
sick.
feather in the zipper?
Yeah.
Put the feather in the fucking zipper. Ouch, ow.
There
Yeah.
you go. You mentioned that this is an indie film,
Crazy.
and what I want to highlight too is that this is a fucking rock and roll movie.
Yeah.
I just, the style is fun and loud and in your face, and
it's colored like Josie and the Pussycats.
yeah, it's
Ew.
vibrant. it's
I know.
exciting, and you talk about risk in filmmaking. I just love that this movie. The tone is established right out the gate. It is fun. This is a movie that demands to be seen with a big audience, and as part, it's like if I had to wrap up what I love about the movies, and it'd be this. It is being in a room with people where you are laughing because you can't believe how absurd something is. You're gasping together because you're emotionally on this ride. This movie has these dials and it turns them. It's tweaking the nipples of excitement.
Okay.
It is
Yeah.
He said it, not me.
Twisting the nips.
bringing you for ride. This is a nipple
There's
twisting ride.
so
I
many
felt like my
nipples.
nipples were clamped this
Yeah.
entire movie.
Oh, right.
Like-
I felt bad for being a horny little boy after watching this movie, where I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm the problem."
Yeah, it is very
Shit.
The female director, whose name I am blanking on because it is a fancy name and hard to say, for me because I'm dumb, she did something really interesting with the camera movement. And I know you guys felt it like immediately. Like when we talk about the style that this was shot in, it's very fisheye lens. It's very up close. It's very like the sound design was fucking nanners. Like it's very big, but it's also very POV. Like it's almost like you are a mirror watching the movie and the movie is watching itself through you.
I think that realism in movies is so boring. And
like the shaky cam and shit, or what?
No. Just like a movie that wants to be
Standard.
naturalistic and
Documentary.
No, I
Some
like
documentaries are
style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this has fucking style.
Show your style. Yeah. Like
if it's in service of story.
But
yeah.
I think that this, like, to you feeling like a horny little sad boy, I think you said sad. Did you say
I didn't
horny
say sad, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it made me sad to be a horny little boy. Yeah.
Pathetic little sad.
I didn't say
when
pathetic.
you were
You're
a little
adding
baby
adjectives.
bitch. Yeah, when you were
a baby
wow,
tiny
so many
bitch.
adjectives that I did not sign off on.
When you were a
I
dickwad.
think, yes,
Oh my god,
tiny dickwad.
Jesus Christ, Rainie, you're gonna let this stand?
The filmmaker, she
Cut it
does
out,
a
cut it
really good job of what at first
Can you tell us her name, Rainie?
Yeah, it's also, I don't know how to pronounce it, but so I've got the pronunciation.
Oh.
That was not helpful.
Fuck
That
you.
could not have been less
all the way
helpful.
off.
Corley
What the fuck?
Farge.
Corley Farge, I think it is.
Corley Farge.
Yes,
I could just see it.
Corlie. So like
Oh, I thought you
Corlie.
remembered it.
Corley.
And then
Corley
Corley
Farge.
Farge.
I remember Farge.
Roger. With an R.
Farge.
F-R?
F-A-R.
Farge.
Anyway, she
killed it.
directed
She
it.
killed
She
it.
does this thing where, like, at first I thought it was like the male gaze, but then I think as you watch, it's just society gaze.
I think it's the
I thought it
feeling
was-
of what it feels like to have the male gaze
On
you.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
It is, so
It's I would say like all of the directional choices, directorial choices.
There you
I
go.
don't know. Directorial choices were all very judgmental in all of like the lenses and whatnot. They felt like, oh, look, we're just going all the way up and down this person, and we're judging them as much and as humanly possible. And whether that is good or bad, it's judgmental regardless.
I had to
a
fucking
good judgment or a bad judgment.
I had to
Yeah.
fucking like check myself. The first time I saw this was in IMAX screen size, and I was like the third row. And there's a shot where Demi Moore is like hating herself, and it's right before she decides to take the substance for the first time. And this is after her show's been canceled. She gets in a car accident because she misdirected herself on the road when she was watching a billboard of herself get taken down on Hollywood Boulevard. Like she's at her lowest point. And the camera has her nude and it pans down her entire body. And I, as a very staunch body positive feminist, went, oh no, don't do that. Oh no, oh my God, they're showing her actual boobs. Oh no, her stomach has wrinkles, pouches, her butt kind of has this teardrop effect on the cheek. And I felt mortified, like stomach churned mortified for her. And then I had to catch myself and go, that's the fucking point. Is like, this is tapping in to every female, and I have to imagine like female actress of her age and caliber's deepest fear, which is like you are getting your body shown in the most horrific way when it's just your body.
Yeah,
This is fascinating.
Yeah, because big on Demi Moore for doing that. But I also know what Zach is about to say
What?
So
because I feel the same way.
So actually, I think this is where it's important that this movie was from a female director,
Yes.
and this is
Can we just call her like Corley? Is
Coralie.
Coralie,
Sea-girl.
Corley.
Sea Frage.
CF. my girl CF,
Cystic
because
fibrosis.
damn, CF I think directed this from a female perspective that is frankly beyond me, because I would say one of my critiques of the movie is that Garrick and I are watching this and we're like, damn, Demi Moore. I know it's not the point of the movie, but Demi Moore looks amazing.
She still got it, bro.
She
like
got it.
You're watching during that scene where you're going up and down. I was like,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I can
What's
100% guarantee you.
Where is she?
Women
What's going? I know.
were
Demi,
shrinking inside of
yeah,
ourselves.
Of course.
Demi
And
Moore
That's
also-
coming right from a part right before it where she's doing aerobics and she's fucking snatched. She's got her leggings on. Her body looks. She looks arguably the hottest she's ever looked right now in her 60s.
Well, and I think what's tough about it's crazy. What's tough about this casting is that Demi Moore is famously gorgeous. What is it? Beyond her years, the opposite. She in her 40s or 50s was dating baby boy Ashton Kutcher. So like she's always been like, yeah, she's stupidly hot, and I don't understand how she is still so hot.
This was a movie that I can guarantee you more women went in going, ooh, she looks older. Like she's
crazy.
had work done. Oh, her like
so now we have Margaret
Qualley.
We have Margaret Qualley as Sue, her younger version that is birthed out of her spine.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I was like, yeah, they both look great.
No, 1,000,000% no. I'm going to tell you where they nailed this this aging insecurity fear that all women are taught to believe, which is that we are expired, we are disposable, we are replaceable. No matter how hot you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much time and effort you put into it, there will always be someone younger, hotter that we are told we have to fear. Wow. And our biggest fear as women is getting older and unlovable, right? Whether or not we actually feel that, because I'm like, I love myself, I think I'm a bad bitch, but like in the last 3 years have caught myself doing what she did, which is just staring at myself in the mirror, being like, oh no, like this droop, this didn't used to be there. Like, oh my God, I can't believe like a 2x X magnifying mirror is a girl's worst nightmare.
So fucking unfair because I get a couple grays and I'm like, ooh, look at me.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about that when I was watching it with you
it.
guys. I was like, they have no idea. Like you guys are having a completely separate experience to the women in this theater.
Yeah, and I felt awful. Like it's again being a sad, horny little boy where I'm just like, I don't want to for one sexualize either of the actresses in this. And then also like I felt bad feeling as though I wanted to run around to every woman and say, hey, you can age. We still look like, in my
you're
opinion,
perfect.
You're great and all that stuff. But I'm like, yeah, but also they still live in the society that keeps on teaching them that this is wrong. Aging is bad. You should die at 30.
There is one part in particular where Demi Moore runs into an old school classmate who is kind of like this derpy guy and he's like, oh my God, you're still the most beautiful girl in the world, and it's really like cute, but she finds it repulsive at first, and the filmmaker makes sure to make it feel repulsive by this one amazing shot where he drops his phone number in the mud and he picks it back up and hands it to her covered in mud, and it's like, this is what you get
and this is
because you're an old piece of shit. And so
all you deserve is this loser that was like a bit from fucking
nothing wrong with the guy,
Groundhog
right?
Day.
Yeah. And so there's later in the film when she's trying to...
I did get Stephen Tobolowsky and Groundhog Day vibes from that.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay.
Later in the film when she's trying to find a way to love herself again, to stop taking the substance.
This might be the scene of the movie to me.
When she decides, I'm going to go on a date with this fucking Tad, this fucking dude. And she starts getting ready. And brothers...
This was the best. This was the best scene. This was a scene that like truly made me like never in my life ever again or not even again ever in my life like think about being like, hey, are you ready yet? To my fiance.
Thank you. I just came.
Yeah, I'll never like ever in my fucking life. Like truly, it's just like, no, take all the time you need. I mean, we can do like 3-4 hours. It doesn't really fucking matter. Do what you got to do to feel.
But the best would be is if we all decided that girls don't have to look a certain way to be in public. Like I wish I could just go out like this. I do look like this 99% of the time, but I'm trying to make it fashion.
Right.
But like there is a routine that women have, especially before going out on a date or to see men or to be seen. That is, you could be the most confident motherfucking person in the world. You could be Demi Moore and you are quadruple checking your makeup. You are
goes back to the mirror. She's about to leave. She goes back to the mirror.
She does this little thing to her makeup. She takes off
I gotta take this off.
It's always trying to achieve something that we physically cannot anymore, which is youth. It's gone.
And then she
trying to get back to that.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, and then she has that moment where she looks in the mirror and just says, like, I can't get it. Like, no matter what I try, it's all wrong. And she just starts fucking furiously rubbing it all off.
Yeah.
Demi Moore is excellent in this movie.
I didn't know she was this great of an actress.
She wasn't. This is incredible.
This
I mean,
is just
she's
out of
really
nowhere, right?
great.
Yeah, this is like. And
Well, Charlie's Angels full throttle. She killed it in
she's
that.
great. And that's on me for not like knowing her filmography as well. But like she was so good. But it's even still, right? When you say I'm going to cast an aging actress and then you get the best looking aging actress, it makes your point a little bit more moot, where you're like, okay, so now look at how much better I look, and we're gonna get Margaret Qualley.
I wonder if against our point, the fact that even Demi Moore feels this way.
I know,
right?
and that's what, that's kind of the point.
My favorite
that I gotta land it at.
My favorite tweet about the movie is I saw someone go, I know it's against the point of the substance, but Margaret Qualley's body is tea.
yeah.
And I was like, that's funny.
It's like, yeah, that's awesome. I felt like it wasn't tea enough to make the point of the movie.
I mean, it's one of those things again where like we know what's wrong with ourselves, and like men will never know the small cracks and crevices that we are talking about when we feel the insecurities. But like, I don't know a single woman that doesn't have a like resounding applause to this movie in the doubt that Demi Moore has in herself. And later we find out even Margaret Qualley goes through. But to y'all's points, like my favorite acting of Demi was, to get to like one of the spoilers, is that as they are battling each other for, one cannot live without the other, but Demi is hesitant to let her Margaret Qualley version go because she's successful. She's finding happiness again. She's like the most perfect ever version of herself. Margaret Qualley literally can't live without the stabilizer that comes from the spine of Demi Moore every day.
Spinal fluid. We have so much to explain and talk about.
Yeah.
That we find out that when Quagley goes over even a minute. What's her name?
Qualley.
Quagmire. When Quagmire even goes over a minute of time, it takes from Demi Moore's body.
So she has this one night where she's like fucking this hot young guy, and she's like, I just need a couple more hours. You understand, right? And she stays up, and it's like, I stayed up and partied late that night. And so when Demi Moore comes out of, it's like Sue switches back to Elizabeth, she has this one craggly old witch finger that like looks like it's been dry freezed. Witch finger. Yeah. And it is just, let me tell you, dear audience, that is just the beginning of this body that is going to decay. Yeah. This movie's so funny because it makes its point, and as an audience, you go, awesome. I get it. And the movie goes, no.
You
haven't made my point yet.
Yeah.
And then it goes and doubles down and quadruples down.
It's a hat on 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 a hat.
And by the end, blood is spraying everywhere. Yeah. But we have to talk about the substance.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because first of all, it is pitched to her by this yassified male nurse.
I love that nurse.
It's just this hot guy.
The hottest man I've ever seen.
Which he's clearly taking the substance. And what's this dude doing as if you're yassified to fuck with the substance, I don't know.
Maybe he's scouting.
Okay.
I like that theory.
Wait, I have a question about just like the logistics of this. Does she turn into Margaret Qualley, or are there two different bodies?
There are two different
There are
bodies.
two.
Okay.
So they get the substance. She goes to a depot to pick it up. She's number 503, which I just imagine, what if they reversed it and she was number 305 and the substance turned into
Mr.
305.
So they have to go.
I think about smart things during movies.
I can tell.
Great.
She gets the substance. She plugs herself in. It's like a shot.
Yeah, neon green shot. And then they have a blood transfusion. So she like literally puts it into her vein.
Well, where does Margaret Qualley come from? Because you get this scene where my favorite shot of the movie, eyeball mitosis. Yeah. So it goes into, zooms into her eyeball, and you see another pupil, bloop, pop out to it, and like all this shit's going like. Blah, 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 blah. She passes out on the bathroom floor. Her spine splits open, and Margaret Qualley is birthed from her spine. Margaret Sue is then responsible for sewing up Demi Moore's body. And then from there's always one that's passed out on the bathroom floor.
Which was like red flag number one that we talked about this in the group chat. I knew shit was about to go south when she just left the body on the bathroom floor.
Yeah.
Honey came and she got me red-handed, sleeping on the bathroom floor.
She left me butt naked with a fucking gaping wound in my back.
Yeah.
There's gotta be substance plus.
There's gotta be.
I can't have someone come to my house and sew my body up. I'm a freshly baby-born, slimy, hot
Margaret.
baby, and I have to sew up my own spine. No, ma'am.
She couldn't even get our girl a pillow.
Right.
I was like, this movie is going dark places because they never take care of each other. Every time they switch, Margaret makes a DIY hole in her closet and drags Demi's body in there. And that's where she stays for 7 days, hooked up to just like this food that's like called the Matrix or something.
Yeah. And then she has to extract spinal fluid
every
from
day.
Demi Moore, which is like yeah, dude, it's crazy. And there's so many shots of needles, which like that is really what fucked me up. But I'm a big boy and I was able to get past
needles into pus things.
But it's the same person. That they're just switching bodies.
Sort of.
Sort of.
So they say the substance has this
Mantra.
commercial that you read, which is very threatening.
Yeah.
I'm just like, note to the marketing team.
Yeah.
Maybe tone it down.
Yeah,
It was
maybe don't
making
have
a
a
point.
demon read your ad copy.
Do you want to be young forever?
Yeah.
Sure.
You
I
are,
think.
And then it goes like,
remember, you are one.
You
we?
are one.
Else.
I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, we get it.
Okay, Satan. Like,
So
yeah.
it tells you that you are the same person, and like we are led to believe, yes, this is the same person, but with two different desires, wants, beliefs, and like lives. So depending on who is conscious, that's the person. They're both the same, but that we're living their version of what they want.
It's Elizabeth and Sue want different things, and so Elizabeth can't control what Sue does. And that's where I think the second metaphor of the movie comes out, because this is obviously an exploration of female bodies and the way that society puts pressure on women and youth and all that. But there's also the metaphor of how our younger selves mistreat our older selves.
Yeah.
Bruh.
And so Sue, she's young. She's going to live forever. She's hot. She's what's now. And she's making all of these decisions that, as the movie goes on, is having this disastrous effect on Elizabeth, her older self. So we have the craggly finger, but Sue don't stop there.
Sue gets gritty.
Sue get greedy.
Sue get greedy.
She keeps going. And so
the craggly finger comes from just a minute over.
Yeah.
Please continue. Sorry.
And then
it accelerates, and I'm forgetting some of the finer details here, but we get to a point where
3 months.
This is she was
3 months that she wouldn't
Sue
swap
for
back.
3 months.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't that make sense now? What Demi wakes up to?
Demi Moore comes out as the Six Flags man.
Yeah.
Do you remember the commercial? She is bald. She is wrinkly. She is adorable.
She is hunchback. She is black-eyed. She is.
I've skipped an hour of the movie, but I just had to talk about the Six Flags man.
She's literally like a creature looking. Like, bruh, she didn't want to age. She fucking uno reverso fucking speed timed 100 fucking years of age and wakes up in this body that is the most disgusting thing you can possibly imagine.
As a chronic pain boy over here, I was reflecting on a lot about this just idea of like the decisions I make pay dividends or subtracts dividends.
Yeah,
like you pay a big price for the decisions you make, and we so mistreat our future selves all the time without considering it, without thinking about it.
That's what they mean when they say youth is wasted on the young.
No, truly, because I felt like this movie was, if anybody is seen The Shining, my favorite movie of all time.
I did see it. Recently for the first time.
And she made me Pine Tarts, which is fucking anyway.
And
That's
I
a whole
must have
other
been
thing.
busy. That's crazy.
Where were
busy.
you? Yeah, what the fuck? I was
you
like,
literally were busy.
For half a second felt guilty and then was like,
No.
no.
But we saw The Shining, and this, I mean, from the carpet to this whole dynamic of being like kind of like because I felt like when she became old, she looks like the old woman in The Shining that he was making out with the younger self because he was just like, oh, she's so hot, and then he like zoom back and she's like this old craggly woman or what have you.
One of the most unsettling scenes in The Shining.
Yeah, truly.
Is it like room 638?
Room 237.
237. Thank you.
Yeah. And I felt like I was like, oh, this feels like she saw that movie and was just like, oh, what if I made a movie about this lady and her situation? And of course, in a roundabout way and in a beautiful kind of way. But in that moment, you're just like, he's walking up to this young woman, making out with her. Is just like, oh, she's so hot. And then zooming back, seeing that she's old and like kind of like waterlogged in a way. Which also like leads back to like how we see her body. It's in the shower and she is kind of waterlogged and all that. But yeah, it is that dynamic that kind of happens in that movie, in The Shining, where he's looking at her and he's like, I'm repulsed by you because I'm such a man. I can't believe that I'm fucking making out with this old lady. Because once you get a certain age, you quote unquote expire. And
that was my favorite Demi acting.
Yeah.
Was like
her as an old woman.
Like, like you have to imagine that she was just like, let's fucking go there.
I'm
like,
so excited.
Put me in a fucking hunched bodysuit and let me be fucking disgusting.
We all want to wear prosthetics and be the Six Flags man.
Yeah. You want to let it go. You want to let loose.
I'm glad you brought up The Shining because this actually, I'm going to bring up some guilts. It's going to hurt you. So this
gonna hurt you,
this movie has a lot of cinematic illusions, and I don't know why. And I've seen some chatter online about it, and it's frankly confused me. So you have this Shining-esque hallway with the carpet. At the end, you have an allusion to the elevator of blood in The Shining. So lots of Shining iconography. You have allusions to Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho with shots in the bathroom, shot for shot. Also from The Shining, you have the red bathroom where Dennis Quaid first has his gross little pee shot. There are all of these like references to movies. Towards the end, you have the song from 2001: A Space Odyssey that I can never actually say out loud, like also Sprach Zathura. The you have the love theme from Vertigo play, just like as the score, they decide, and it was kind of jarring for me of like, whoa, why? This is Vertigo, one of my all-time favorite movies. That score, so iconic. Why are we using that? Cool. What is it saying? Why? What about Vertigo are we calling on for this moment? And from what I can tell, the answer's nothing, ? And so the critique that I've seen some people bringing up online is this the equivalent of jangling keys in front of a baby's face? And it's making us do the Leo DiCaprio meme where we go, I recognize that. And the movie does this over and over again, and it's fun. I kind of, I'm going to go against my critique and say, who gives a shit? The movie's fucking rock and roll. It's a blast. It's fun. Yeah. But I've been thinking about these moments for the last couple weeks since we saw it, and I just, for the life of me, can't figure out what is the thematic relevance of having these illusions.
And so that's where I kind of like go to the other side of things of being like, I actually like that because it's less like, oh, what does this mean thematically? And more of a director just wearing their influences on their sleeve and just being like,
that's what I was
I've always watched these movies and I've always had a feeling that I wanted to put it in something. I've always wanted to put the song from Vertigo. I've always wanted to put the song from Space Odyssey. I've always wanted to use the Shining carpet. And then she just figured out a way to do that but just to pay homage and then just to also like,
is it homage or is it just?
No, I think she just put like it's
hollow pastiche. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
felt like it was like, I know this is a horror to a degree,
right?
But
here are all the things that inspired me, not to make this movie, but to be a director in the first place, you know. And it's just like I just like maybe she just
to be
wanted
honest,
to.
I didn't fucking catch any of those references when watching it twice. I think if you know movies, you could make that critique, but I guarantee like the
90%
mass
of
populace is going to be like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
For the record, I did this top to bottom in my short film, but I did come up with a thematic reason for why that was valid.
Yeah, that's fair. Like if you do it pluses it if you do a reference thematically. But like, if you also just do a reference, it's like, oh, that's cool that she's.
If anyone listening has an answer, I really would love to know, and because it's like,
well, she comes on the pod.
The movie's about Hollywood, really, but no, it's not. It's about your relationship with yourself and your body, and like, it's really been puzzling me.
Yeah,
and I want to give her the benefit of a doubt. She's clearly a very sharp, intelligent, talented filmmaker, and so if you're going to be painting. Choices have meanings, you know, and so you made those choices. I would love to know why, and it's driving me crazy.
Oh, so that's what keeps you up at night?
Yeah, of many things. It's kind of the stew of. The other night I woke up, just like you'd roll over, and my mind was racing. But then it would kind of, sometimes I would have blurry thoughts. I don't know how to describe it. Like some thoughts were sharp, some thoughts were blurry. And I went, no, blurry thoughts go blurry. And I just kept saying blurry, and I went to the blurry thoughts, and it helped me fall asleep again.
Nice.
Do you ever just want to screenshot your Aura Ring sleep score and send it to your friends to explain how you're acting that day? I almost did that to you guys today because I slept like dog shit last night, and I don't know why. I couldn't fall asleep till 2
I want to see your sleep score.
It was like 76.
Yeah,
it was bad.
The other day I woke up and Maggie was like, "We're sleepy," and I said, "Actually, we're 92s. Let's fucking go."
It does have an effect on my like outlook on the day.
I think that it doesn't affect my outlook on the day because I'm waking up and I still feel like kind of tired. But once it hits around 11 is when I definitely start feeling it, or I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be sustainable. Because
you just got to get more spinal fluid from your Elizabeth body.
Your closet body.
Yeah, to maintain. Goddamn.
We didn't even talk about Margaret Qualley.
Yeah, Margaret Qualley, she also gets to have her fun. I mean, so we have Elizabeth, we have Sue, and in the third act, we have Monstra Elisa Sue.
Yeah.
Yes, which was like, again, my favorite versions of their acting is when they got to be in the body horror suits. Both of them.
She decides to double down on the substance.
She kills Elizabeth.
Well, of course.
And she seals her own fate because she can't live without
Elizabeth. That's spinal fluid.
And so what happens? She has no choice but to substance her slimy baby-bodied self, which is a replica. She mitoses meiosis.
You don't make a photocopy of a photocopy, or else you're going to get Monstra Elisa Sue.
Yes.
And you get Margaret Qualley as this
grotesque,
I don't know what you
call it. Again, a hat on a hat, a camp on a
Demi
camp.
Demi Moore's face bulging out of her shoulder.
A titty falling out of the eye.
Yeah.
Teeth coming out of weird places. She almost looks like melted, like if a person was like in Photoshop, what's that tool where you can like spread and blur? Like it's like that, but as a person.
Yeah.
And it is, I mean, when you guys were like, let's fucking go, I was like, oh, no, we're not there. We haven't gone.
Yeah.
We haven't gone.
Again,
we have
the
more.
movie says, I have not made my point
I have
yet.
not finished yet.
No, you think I have gone as far as I can? In fact, I have not.
Even when we hit the most insane like peak climax, and it's 40 minutes of Monstra Sue.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's 40 fucking minutes.
You think the movie should be over because you go,
there's nothing left.
Bravo, you've found the end of this thread.
Yeah.
And they go, don't you simple little pathetic dickwad baby boy, Garrick.
You bitch boy.
You little sad young
horny
bitch boy.
What? How did
you said it? Not us. We're repeating the information you told us.
The movie said it. Yeah, it finds so much more to mine.
Yeah.
To the point. I mean, I can tell you what the ending is, but you just kind of gotta feel it.
You wouldn't believe us if we told you.
It's more of a vibe than anything.
blood and Darritus. Streaming everywhere, spraying, and
Guts,
it's silly
meat.
and funny and sad. The final shot, I adore, is a direct mirror of the opening, which we didn't talk about. Just the opening shot is this
Hollywood star.
Yeah, top down on the Hollywood star, and you see the life cycle of a Hollywood star, Elizabeth, through her actual Hollywood star. And so first it's fresh and it's clean, and then, there's rain and then sleet, and then people walk over it, and then it cracks, and then someone
spills food all over it.
Ketchup all over it. And you see, I thought it was a very smart way to visually show, here's where she started and here's where she is now.
And where this is the first minute of the movie.
Yeah,
You've already seen oh shit, this bitch has been through some shit.
And then the ending mirrors that very well. And actually, that opening shot does what some of my favorite movies do, which it says, I'm going to tell you every beat of the movie up top.
Yeah.
If you're paying attention, here are the chapters of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it in one shot.
The ketchup is the blood.
The ketchup is there.
Yep.
The ketchup is not just the blood. It is Elizabeth's final form. When she crawls back onto the star, which, again, such a fun shot. This movie's a hoot.
I love it.
I feel like we can't. I feel like we just talked for an hour, but we didn't do it justice. You know what I mean? You just have to go fucking.
Yeah.
The sound design. I wish I could have talked more about.
Kelsey told it that her favorite type of sound design is kitchen sink garbage disposal.
Yeah, something caught in a garbage disposal.
Yeah.
It's a brain scratcher for you. You like it?
Yeah, I'm give me more of that.
It's it has body horror in so many different ways. There's a shot of a little bone bursting out of her butt, and then she brings it around, and she reaches into her belly button
That was
to pull it out, which I am so belly button squeamish, and that really that fucked me. If you have any sort of specific I'm fingers gross me out, or spines gross, or ooze, or eyeballs, or needle.
Don't.
This movie will find you.
Yeah.
Whatever your one
You got
is, it's gonna find you.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know, you'll develop a new one.
Yeah.
I sure did. Ooh, we got fun facts with the Zachs. Split open back.
Any
Bless you.
any final thoughts before we move on?
I feel like we didn't give Margaret Quagmire her flowers, but I think she did a really good job of playing a cunt.
I didn't realize she's a Nepo baby. That's what I learned in the fun fact.
And she's also married to Jack
Antonoff.
Yeah.
She is the daughter of what's her name from Groundhog Day, right?
Oh. Maybe that's why they had the reference.
Andy
in it.
McDowell.
Yeah.
She also worked with her mom worked with Demi Moore.
Oh,
In St. Elmo's Fire.
In St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, I love Andy McDowell.
Not gonna lie, I've never seen that movie, St. Elmo's Fire. What the fuck is a St. Elmo?
It was a big hit in the 80s.
Huh?
Is it
It was a big hit in the 80s, the movie.
What is it? What is a
I've never
St.
seen it.
Elmo?
I just know the song.
No one knows what it is? All right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're great movie hosts.
Oh my God.
What?
Okay, well,
What? Tell me I can't stand it.
I have to start here. Margaret Qualley this is crazy. She revealed in interviews,
What?
those ain't her boobies.
Huh?
The boobies in the movie are not her boobies.
Margaret Quagley?
They are prosthetics designed by a makeup artist, Pierre-Olivier Persin.
Wait, not Demi's or
No,
Margaret.
Margaret Qualley has a ton of nude scenes in this movie.
and those aren't her titties. That was a
Baked it-
great makeup job then.
I'm my mind is, because
Well.
Rainie, you're looking at us how can that be? There's titties galore in this
yeah,
film.
there's
There's a lot of-
titties
there's a lot of
coming out
boobs.
of titties.
There's a lot of
and
boobs.
I'm not even saying that as a joke. There's literally a tit that comes out of a tit.
And
Aesthetic.
it's funny, the tweets about Willem Dafoe in a movie where he filmed a nude scene and they had to cover him up from the waist down because they were so shocked by the size of his member, which is very funny.
Yeah, well then now when you see them again, you're kind of like, oh yeah, because she's
I'm sorry, did you just show us a zoomed in photo of her boobs?
yeah
Very
from the
cool.
movie. You're like, oh yeah, those aren't hers because she's like a nicely natural, small-chested female like myself.
That's why I was surprised when the
when
movie,
you saw it,
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, I guess
I didn't know that you wear
It's
big.
not that I was actively thinking about it, I just was surprised.
Yeah.
Sure.
There was a quote where she was like, "This is the rack of a lifetime, just not my lifetime."
That's fun. She's
yeah,
funny.
because she
Really
like me.
good.
She's funny.
Dennis Quaid was originally not in the film. Ray Liotta was cast in that role, but he passed away.
Yeah.
Liotta is still mentioned in the thank you notes during the credits.
Beautiful.
Speaking of Dennis Quaid, one of Margaret Qualley's favorite movies is next week's film, The Parent Trap.
Nice.
Dennis Quaid briefly dated her mother, Andie MacDowell.
No.
Wow. Could have been
I'm not ready
my
to talk
fucking
about
dad.
I'm so upset.
Yeah.
Stay tuned until next week when Kelsey
I
needs
quit.
to reconcile the fact that her surrogate movie father figure is a Trumper. He was at a rally. Demi Moore was nervous about filming full nudity at age 61, felt vulnerable, but she really credited co-star Margaret Qualley with making her feel comfortable on set.
Aw.
Qualley also performed totally naked. Sans, you get it. Quote from Demi Moore, I found, quote, someone who was a great partner who I felt very safe with. We obviously were quite close, naked, and we also got a lot of levity in those moments at how absurd those certain situations were. This was the longest standing ovation of the 2024 Cannes Film Festival.
Wow.
The film is partly inspired by Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray, about a man who manages to avoid aging, but instead there is this portrait that gets older and older and older. So you have this big portrait of Elizabeth where Sue is aging Elizabeth's body. The portrait first gets kind of damaged, and then she ends up hiding it in another room.
Yeah, awesome.
And then she takes it back out, rips the face off, and glues it onto her own. Super glues it on.
Yeah. He puts it in the attic. He hides it because he sees Dorian Gray does. Sorry. Yeah.
I never actually read it.
So
great.
Great.
I bet it is.
It's a good piece. Again, a good piece of science fiction, even though it's Elizabethan in a way.
Now it's time for us to decide, is this movie a pleasure, a
Fuck
guilty
off.
pleasure, or just plain guilty?
This movie is so pleasurable. It is such a pleasure because it's going to piss people off. It's going to gross them out. It's going to get them talking. It's going to get so many people saying, what the fuck? And also so many people saying like, fuck yeah. That like, I go back to like your impassioned speech of just like, we need to keep funding, making, and supporting people
I was so impactful.
that want
this is
to.
exciting.
Well, you love that movie.
Really?
Everything Everywhere.
Well,
it's
sure.
like just like
I had a clear impact on her.
I don't want to see the same movie twice. Like, just keep making weird, fucking crazy shit. And especially after coming through, like, I felt like a lull of a summer kind of blockbuster, like half chub. This fucking came out and fucked us all in the face.
Well, and this shows that a small movie, and this was, I think, a $10 million budget, can still feel huge.
Yeah.
This movie, I mean, I said it again. I'll say it again. This movie is a rock and roll show. It feels so big and tweaks the nipples of your emotions in such huge ways. Look, this movie is campy. It is silly. It has all of these different genre motifs. Things that you may say, Zach, is that not part of like the guilty pleasure definition that you're using all of these campy things? And I say, fuck you, no, it's not. It's a pleasure. This is
like
a
you're talking to yourself on that one.
fun,
Yeah.
delightful movie. I look forward to the sequel where Elizabeth goes to, she's patient 305.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah.
Mr. Worldwide.
What do you think, Ricky Smith?
No, I think it's a pleasure as well, of course. I also think that it's just important for young men to see in a weird way. Is like as somebody who is affected by film and television more than I am by the real world, which is kind of fucked up to say. I do feel like this is one of those things that can teach people how to treat other people like human beings by showing them the most grotesque version of a human being. I think that it's special. I think that it's a very unrewatchable movie because it does gross you out to the point of just like, here's the medicine, here's your medicine.
You're dying choking on the medicine.
Yeah, you're dying choking on the medicine.
I bet you I'd be a little desensitized time too. You don't think?
As a two-timer over here, it fucking ripped both times.
Credit to Kelsey. She saw this and said, Clear your schedule. We're going.
Yeah, we're going again.
I just
We're
said,
going
guys,
again.
we have
We're gonna
to
run
go.
that one
I-
back.
I feel like you were like, we need to go again as a group because you guys need to see this.
I need you
it's
to
like
watch
me forcing you guys to watch Selma.
Anime.
You know, like-
I thought you were going to say your name.
yes, yeah,
Yes.
or something, yeah, or
Yeah.
your name.
Same effect.
Clearly not not your name is not it is a good movie. It's not an important movie.
No.
But I do think that it's just one of those things that.
Hey, did your name make you feel?
What's it?
Did your name make you feel something? Then
That's
it's
true.
important.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it made me feel a lot of things. Anyway,
But I like what
this
you
guy-
said, that it's not necessarily like you don't need it to be viral. You need it to be felt.
Yeah,
And this movie is such a feeler.
yeah, it's definitely is a filler.
Let us know what you think about the movie. I want to hear your thoughts. Sound off below. I'm at Corn Diddy on all the things.
I'm Kelsey Darragh and all the things.
I'm Garrick Bernard and all the things.
And until next time, Alizasu.